With the NSA.
We have identified some very, very interesting anomalous type of aircraft.
The traffic is quite luminous and is exhibiting some non-ballistic motion. Over.
Move very rapidly at any speed or whether any direction it wanted to go. Why it could change and go to the right or the left or go crossways without hesitating a bit.
What do you think it was?
Well, if they call it a flying saucer, that's what it is.
EWA 517, do you want to report a UFO? Over. Negative. We don't want to report.
Look, it wasn't my worst Wednesday night.
Greetings, everyone. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Anomaly-NOW. I am your host, Smiles Lewis. This is the sometimes weekly, mostly weekly. We missed last week. Sometimes live, though it's been months and months and months. Weekly news and media roundup for the 501c3 nonprofit Scientific Anomaly Institute, aka the Anomaly Archives, located here in Austin, Texas. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday. It is almost over, folks. 2025 is almost behind us. For some of us on the planet, it already is. I'm recording this just after in the early afternoon of Wednesday, December 31st, 2025. Oh my gosh, what a year. I hope your year's been better than mine and others and most people's. I think it's been really rough for folks. So anyway, all that aside, let's get down to business. We've got a lot to cover, and of course I can't cover everything, but you know the drill. You can go to our Flipboard and find all the links, or go to the website and find the archive of links that we flipped over into the Flipboard. Occasionally things won't flip for some reason. There must be some kind of anti link code on some of these websites, but we'll see. Okay, where are we? We are right here on I do want to start with this exciting, awesome news. I am so happy, honored to have been allowed by Houston Sky editor Gail Neeson to distribute the PDF digital copy of the final anniversary finale 30 years later issue number 12 of Houston Sky, her UFO newsletter. And so if you go to anomalyarchives.org, you can find our periodical page and our blog post announcing the ability for you to download the PDF of the Houston Sky final issue number 12. And we're so proud to be featured in this issue, as well as honored to be distributing this final issue, this 30-year anniversary issue. It's just so wonderful to have a physical copy of something in your hand to hold and read in a traditional fashion. Just thank you so much, Gail, for making this happen. I think others are going to really enjoy this as well. But yeah, you can go to the website. There are limited edition, while supplies last, of the physical copies of the magazine, the print issues, back issues 1 through 11 from circa 1995, 1996. You can order those through there. You can go email her, Houston Sky 2025. That's Houston Sky 20025 at gmail.com. She also has a P.O. box you can mail checks to. And and highly encourage anyone who wants to get physical copies while supplies last to do so, to go look at the address and contact Gail. Also at issuu.com, that's issu.uu.com, you can have a kind of the physical feel of reading it by accessing it there. Hopefully that'll stay up there for a while, or maybe permanently. And you can also download it from there. But yeah, you can zoom in, you can move around the page and read it in a traditional fashion. And it's got some nice little animation features that allow you to get that feel of like turning the pages. And that's the other great thing about this, is you can see the layout and design that Gail spent so much time and effort on. No, this isn't some glossy full color magazine with modern stylistic design, but it really does recreate. It's exactly like the old issues, and I really appreciate her design style and effort that went into making this layout so enjoyable and fun. So yeah, there's all kinds of stuff there. And as I mentioned, we are honored to be featured there in the pages, talking about archives as well as talking about Anomaly-NOW. So check that out. Anomalyarchives.org, and you can sign up for the free updates there, just search the website. But you can also go to patreon.com and become a patron of our services. We post a lot of material there, links to the website, and there's constantly, we're putting out new stuff. You can also click through and listen to the audio only versions of this weekly show that get posted there as well. And it's just everything. You can sign up for free, or you can donate $1 a week, $1 a month, $2 a month, $5, $10. It's at the $10 or higher level that gets you access to our monthly online Anomaly Academy tier, which allows you access to the live online presentations by fellow researchers, experiencers, what have you, seekers of the strange, the mysterious, the Fortean, the anomalous. And just this past month, we had Brad Abrahams talking about close encounters of the humankind in terms of his work documenting strange experiences and chronicling the very human experiences that people have with the anomalous. And of course, he's most known for his documentary Love and Saucers, The Far Out World of David Huggins, as well as material on conspiracy theories like Do You See What I See?, a short documentary about the unofficial artist of conspiracy theory culture, the controversial and recently departed David Dees, and so much more. Really enjoyed hearing what Brad had to say about his approach to storytelling with that. We've also released the lecture that we had for the Anomaly Academy series last year in December of 2024. That was an archival lecture given back, what would be that, 15 years ago in 2010 at our second location, back when we were on Research Boulevard up in Northwest Austin. And we've now made that more widely publicly available, both to our patrons and to the public at large. You can find that on our YouTube channel. You can find that on our website, anomalyarchives.org, or the patreon.com/anomalyarchives page. And it's very interesting. Of course, Jonathan Downes has a pretty thick British accent, so it can be a little tough to to decipher sometimes, but I think he's absolutely worth listening to. And the subject is cryptozoology generally, but specifically, he was here in Texas visiting our good friends Richie and Naomi West, who guided him around the state to research the strange phenomena known as Texas blue dogs, aka chupacabras. That's right, folks. The chupacabras, you know, those strange hairless creatures seen all across Texas, that are basically, spoiler alert, these are mostly dogs and coyotes and foxes and raccoons with mange. All of these creatures have been misidentified as quote unquote chupacabras. There's been some interesting DNA analysis of some of these, but that was several years ago before it was as easy to do. Oh, here is the example: living chupacabra captured by Texas couple. That is not, that is a poor raccoon with mange. But anyway, very much recommend John Downs' presentation, which we've now made public to everyone over at the websites. All right. And keeping just briefly on the subject of Texas blue dogs and the chupacabra reports here in Texas, our good friend Chester Moore Jr. Has put out an episode on his Wildlife Journal online, his YouTube channel, called Chupacabra Coyote Connection: The Mystery of the Blue Dogs. Highly recommend it. It's about 20 minutes or less, and he does a great job of synopsizing this situation and his experience researching it. I really respect Chester on so many levels as a wildlife journalist and investigator, and as a cryptozoologist, and also as he does some humanitarian work that he melds with his personal spiritual path and his love of introducing children to nature and wildlife. And he is very much into preservation and education. So highly recommend that video of his. All right. Coming up next month, January, our first monthly presenter for the Anomaly Academy lecture series for patrons at the Anomaly Academy Cadet tier or higher is going to be Susan Demeter, a witch who investigates UFOs. You can find out more about her over at her website, susandemeter.wordpress.com. She, of course, is the author of Cosmic Witch, Magic, Witchcraft, and the Supernatural. And I first really became aware of her back in 2017 or thereabouts, when she was one of the contributors to, what's the book I was in, UFOs Reframing the Debate, edited, compiled by Robbie Graham. May he rest in peace. And so many other contributors besides Susan and myself, and a really amazing host of other people are featured in that tome. And I'm really looking forward to her talk. And then, of course, coming up sometime this early part of the next year, we're going to have a presentation by Barbara Fisher on living plasmas, one of the interpretations of UFO phenomena that I find a lot of interest and resonance with. And which Susan's husband, Susan Demeter's husband, Massimo Teodrani, the physicist and electronic musician, has written a lot about the issue of living plasmas and the connection to the UFO phenomena with plasma. Right, barreling on through. You can, of course, go to our Anomaly Archives Flipboard. That's flipboard.com/@Anomaly Archives, and then click through to the Flipboard, where we aggregate all the news articles that we come across daily, a constant flow of these news articles. You can find the links to this on our website, anomalyarchives.org. So much great stuff. You can't cover it all in one show and keep that show tidy and short, but there's some great stuff that I'm going to highlight here. First off, we have over at psychologytoday.com is a peculiar subset of near-death experiences, encounters with deceased individuals whose death was unknown to the experiencer. This is written about by Alexander Bathiani, PhD, Consciousness and Meaning at Life's End. Without going into the details, here are the key points as pointed out at the top of the page. NDEs, near-death experiences, occasionally include encounters with deceased individuals whose death was unknown to the experiencer. If NDEs were driven by expectation, accurate perceptions of unknown and surprising facts should not occur. Though rare, such experiences are reported with enough regularity to warrant systematic investigation. A new research protocol aims to document such cases with greater rigor than has previously been possible. And this is, I think, a good example of what I consider, very grounded parapsychological research. I do think that there is such a wealth of evidence for human psychic ability and anomalous cognition, anomalous information transfer. This whole notion of a very common phenomena of people having premonitions of people dying, or having premonitions of being contacted or thinking of a person, and then suddenly that person contacting them when they haven't communicated in often years or sometimes decades, or having visions of somebody who they didn't know was sick, who just suddenly appears to them, and it turns out that they died right around that same time. This is akin to that as far as I can tell. So I think that's interesting. So check that out. Then, of course, we've got our good friend, Peter Stencil, who is one of the three founders of the zine that was kind of my gateway, one of my gateways into the anomalous UFO zine scene of the 1990s. And that is the excluded middle, which is of course titled after this idea of you can be agnostic. You don't have to be an either or as Robert Anton Wilson says, you can be both, and you can explore the excluded middle. There is a balance point between these dual opposites. It's not always black or white. Some things are gray. Okay, so over on YouTube is this channel by Brad Peterson, and it features our good friend Peter Stencil being interviewed for this show by Brad Peterson. NDE Experiences, The Face of Light in the Void, musician Peter Stencil's Grateful Dead NDE. And I'll just give you a quick sample of that here.
There was this emanation from this basically face of light that was coming right into me of pure love. It was so loving. I knew that there could be no sin, nothing I could do that would prevent me from getting that love, which is what unconditional love is. But we often throw that term around, unconditional love, but to actually feel it, and like, not only that, I've always been loved. It was this eternal sense of love and it seemed to ground the universe. And it was not just for me, it was for everybody, but it felt so wonderful. So my fear kind of left at that point. I just have to say, at this point, I knew this was an adventure.
Well, so yeah, you can go check out that whole thing. It looks to be just over an hour long. And yeah, Peter is an amazing thinker and very spiritual person who I always am intrigued by his insights into all these strange, mysterious phenomena. And I'm so proud to have met him, so lucky to have met him and Greg Bishop and Robert Larson, the founders of the Excluded Middle, when I met them way back in the mid 90s, and have been friends with them ever since. So check that out. Keeping with the indie. Oh, wait, I thought there was more indie stuff. No, I guess not. We'll just jumping back to the cryptozoology scene. We've got this article over at Lauren Coleman's cryptozoonews.com. That is the top cryptozoology books of 2025. He loves doing these kinds of best of lists and compiling best of, or honoring people on a yearly annual basis. And number one, he's got Bigfooters and Scientific Inquiry on the Borderlands of Legitimate Science by Jamie Lewis and Andrew Bartlett. As number two, The Secret World of Denisovans, the epic story of the ancient cousins to sapiens and Neanderthals by Silvana Condorni and Francois Savatier. Coming in at number three, Chasing North American Monsters, a guide to over 250 creatures from Greenland to Guatemala by Jason Offutt, with a foreword by Lord Coleman. And then you can read the rest. There's more here by other authors. Very interesting list of books that you'll want to check out. Gosh, we're gonna have to get all these for the archives. Need to get our Amazon wish list up, or our wish list, and folks can start helping us acquire more materials. Another one over at CryptoZoo News is Cryptozoologists of the Year 2025, Red Wolf Researchers and Posthumous Hominologists. And looks like he is awarding the two individuals, Bridget von Holt, PhD, and Kristen Brzeski, PhD. And let's see, he writes, Red wolf ghost alleles are remnants of lost red wolf DNA found in the coyote populations in the southeastern U.S., resulting from historical interbreeding before red wolves were extirpated, circa 1980. These genetic ghosts persist in coyotes, offering a valuable genetic reservoir that could aid in red wolf recovery efforts by potentially reintroducing lost diversity. This has occurred primarily in coyotes in southwestern Louisiana and eastern Texas, particularly in areas like Galveston Island. Reintroductions have occurred in North Carolina. These two individuals we celebrate are Bridget von Holt and Kristen Brzeski. Our congratulations to them. And there's more about them and their work on the rest of this page there at cryptozoonews.com. Good job, Lauren. And then we've got our friend George Eberhardt, former archivist and very much a UFO Bigfoot oriented person. Check out just a little bit of this 4-minute video where he talks about the Bigfooter of the year for 2025.
Hello, Bigfooters, and happy holidays. It's also time to officially announce the Bigfooter of the year, sponsored by the Bigfoot Times newsletter, which, by the way, has been around since 1998 as an ink on paper publication. That's no small feat. See what I'm saying? I'm George Eberhardt. I provide the index for the entire run of Bigfoot Times ever since it started in the last century. I'm also a retired magazine editor and librarian, but I've also written reference books on UFOs and cryptozoology, including the acclaimed 2-volume set, Mysterious Creatures. For nearly 3 decades, Bigfoot Times has annually selected a Bigfooter of the year. There is no money given out, no gold or bronze statue presented at a gala ceremony. It just offers a celebration.
Anyway, surprise. So this is sponsored by Bigfoot Times. He's wearing the t-shirt. The editor of Bigfoot Times has been selected as this year's Bigfooter of the year. Daniel Perez, I believe is his name. And, that's, considering he's sponsoring this, I'm not accusing anything. I think it's good that after all these years, he is getting his 15 minutes of fame. So, but yeah, you can go to George Eberhardt's YouTube channel and see the rest of that. Of course, all the links to the news tonight will be in the show notes on the anomalyarchives.org webpage for tonight's episode. Today's episode, for this last episode of 2025. Meanwhile, I want to draw people's attention to this recent podcast episode you can listen to on YouTube or other podcatcher apps. This is a interview by AP Strange of our friend Ben Roylance, who is probably the main, biggest proponent of Eugenia Macer's story, psychic, artist, UFO researcher, paranormal investigator. This is a nearly 2-hour conversation between Ben and Matthew of AP Strange show, and I highly recommend it. It's a really enjoyable listen. I think they give a great introduction to the life and works of Eugenia Macer's story, and she's just a fascinating character, a fascinating person who I definitely encourage folks to look into more. And of course, they do make reference to, because Ben was one of the participants in our 2020 focus on Eugenia Macer's story, the life and works of artist, clairvoyant, investigator Eugenia Macer's story, EMS, as we like to call her. Some abbreviate her name, which featured Professor Wham, Stephanie Quick, and Ben Roylance. And we really had a great conversation. That's about 2 hours long as well. So check it out. Check those out. And of course, you can go to the Anomaly Archives and find out more about Eugenia and these subjects. So, meanwhile, back in the world of UFOs, there's some, just amazing stuff keeps coming out. And I'm very curious about, I haven't finished watching this interview, but at the very beginning of the most recent episode of Weaponized, that's Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp's podcast, they are interviewing, of course, Jacques Vallée, titled The Bizarre Nature of UFOs. As somebody else has commented, it's so cute seeing them so giggly, so such fanboys like myself at getting to finally interview Jacques Vallée. I don't think, I'm sure they've had conversations before, but just here is a very brief preview of one of the big bombshells that Jacques drops in this interview that has already made some waves. I'll have some comments here in just a second.
But what they described to me is a very sophisticated process by which we may be able to interact with the entities.
But so you're saying you've been made aware that there is a government project, maybe it was 20 years ago, that was able to establish direct communication with a non-human intelligence, and that you believe this information to be true, and that this is a reality. This is what you understand to be true. Is that correct?
I cannot tell. Yes. It's factual.
This is weaponized.
I think that Jacques may be talking about the Collins Elite, that this is something that was repeatedly mentioned in multiple volumes of his Forbidden Science journals, at least definitely in the most recent volume 6, but possibly in volumes 4 and 5 as well. Of course, the main writer who's chronicled this material has been the popular works, the book on the Collins Elite written by Nick Redfern. In fact, I believe that book is called Final Events, and it is pretty much one of the only books devoted to the subject of this Collins Elite. And for those that aren't aware, basically it appears that there has been a non-governmental organization composed of government employees, military personnel, quote unquote, government insiders and military insiders, and I just stick to government mainly. And folks tend to misinterpret this as being that there's this religious government group, but it's a non-sanctioned, as far as anybody can tell, independent group of people who happen to be in the military and or government service area, who have a interest in UFOs, but have very strong religious, spiritual beliefs, and that they have for a long time been investigating UFOs and paranormal phenomena from the angle that it is demonic. And that is come up multiple times as being the suggested interference group for ATIP, OSAP, the Pentagon's, 2008, 2012 UFO program that was revealed in 2017, that it was religious zealots that defunded it, that killed it, that killed the program. There's, I think, been the suggestion by several that the same kind of element, maybe not this exact group, was behind, the killing of psychic remote viewing programs preceding ATIP and all that. Of course, we did learn back in October, Paul Smith reported on a podcast that he had coordinated an RV group as part of OSAP or ATIP, though we had to infer that. The hosts of Third Eye Drops and Richard Dolan had to infer that, but yeah, that appears to be the case. So there was a remote viewing component to OSAP, ATIP, allegedly, apparently. Anyway, in Redfern's descriptions of final events, the Collins Elite, I believe, it's been a long time since I read this, but I believe it was reported that these religious UFO paranormal investigators had created or reported to Ray Boucher and to Nick Redfern that there had been a program. It's uncertain whether it was governmental or not, but there had been a program to communicate with alleged alien beings, and that they were getting all kinds of material. And it just basically, it sounds like a channeling type of experiment where, who knows what the real source of this communication or information is. Anyway, check that out. That's Jacques Vallée, The Bizarre Nature of UFOs on Weaponized with Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp. A lot of other great stuff. Let's see, where are we with that? And just, you can see right next to this is this headline, this video that I'm actually I included because I want to throw in good news. This isn't really anomalous per se, other than is being kind and a good person anomalous these days? This is from some local news story. Austin teen Eli Cooper Yorio erased $4.7 million in medical debt for Travis County residents. Apparently, he raises money to buy people's medical debt to absolve them of their medical debts. It's not a one-for-one thing. It's actually usually like like $1 pays for like $10 or something like that, or $5. Like it's not like he raised $4.7 million. That's how much debt he was able to buy for less than $4.7 million. Anyway, what a great thing to do for people. Anyway, moving right along. Sad to report, alleged UFO abductee experiencer Linda Napolitano, aka Linda Cortile, has passed away. She was born June 14th, 1947, and passed away December 21st, 2025. You may, you may know her from the famous Manhattan abduction case that Bud Hopkins promoted, and which was featured in a Netflix documentary recently that she and others, I think, were suing because she felt that it misrepresented her and misrepresented how they were going to approach the documentary. I thoroughly enjoyed the documentary, but I can understand why she and others felt that it was unfair to her story. But sadly, she has passed away, and her good friends like Peter Robbins and others have been talking about the loss. And anyway, that this is over at williamsonsons.com obituaries. And yeah, you can find out more about her by searching online. Completely shifting gears, and in the home stretch here, I was really excited to see this news story from Boing Boing. This is one of the articles that wouldn't flip into the Flipboard. The title, "The Woman Whose Blood Made an Entire ER Collapse." This is one of those stories that I gotta say, I have always been fascinated by ever since first hearing about this. It is just so bizarre. Let's see here. The woman who made an entire ER collapse. On February 19th, 1994, Gloria Ramirez arrived at Riverside General Hospital in California with late-stage cervical cancer and severe heart palpitations. Within minutes of staff drawing her blood, people started dropping. A nurse noticed an ammonia smell from the blood tube and fainted. A medical resident saw yellow-brown crystals floating in the blood, then collapsed. A respiratory therapist went down next. 23 people got sick. 5 were hospitalized. 1 spent 2 weeks in intensive care. Ramirez herself died 45 minutes after arriving from kidney failure related to her cancer, but that wasn't the mystery. It was what her body did to everyone around her. Sorry, I kept pausing the jump editor because I was sneezing and I had to edit those out. Investigators initially dismissed it as mass hysteria, noting the afflicted were mostly women with normal blood tests. But one hospitalized doctor developed hepatitis and avascular necrosis in her knees afterward, which doesn't fit a psychological explanation. Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory eventually proposed a theory. Ramirez had been using dimethyl sulfoxide, DMSO, as a home remedy for pain. The oxygen from paramedic masks converted it to dimethyl sulfony, which crystallized in her blood. The electric shocks from defibrillation may have then converted that into dimethyl sulfate, a highly toxic compound. Many chemists remain skeptical, noting the human body isn't warm enough for such a reaction. The case was published in Forensic Science International and appears in forensic textbooks as, quote, the most scientific explanation to date, but no one has ever proven it. So, yeah, there's links there. As usual, it's Boing Boing, so it's just a really brief thing. But this reminded me that, yes, back in 2016, October 27, 2016, in our Anomaly Archives e-newsletter, I had made connection to this. There was this, I said, Fortiana reconsidered as cover-up for corruption. There was a news article, Oregon Hospital ER quarantined after people start hallucinating. And then there was this podcast called The Dollop Podcast. It was episode 133, The Toxic Woman of Riverside. Comedians Dave Anthony and Gareth Reynolds examine Gloria Ramirez, also known as the Toxic Woman of Riverside. And yeah, so it looks like the audio only versions of this have mostly disappeared, but it is still over on YouTube, the Dollop Podcast, their official YouTube channel, and it's about an hour-long discussion of the case. I don't really remember the specifics, but it was a very conspiratorial attempt at explaining this strange event that I think they went so far, or somebody went so far as to suggest that there was like a meth lab actually at the hospital, which is just insane. But anyway, I'm going to have to re-listen to that. But the Boing Boing article reminded me of that. So, well, anyway, coming up, like I said, next month, January 2026, we're going to have Susan Demeter give a presentation. It'll likely be about her research into ghost roads, ghost lights, UFOs, and her perspective as a witch, as a practicing witch. And you can, of course, find out more about that over at anomalyarchives.org or patreon.com/anomalyarchives. And again, we want to remind folks that you can go to anomalyarchives.org and you can get your free downloadable PDF of the final issue of Houston Sky. That's Houston Sky number 12, the almost 30-year anniversary finale issue, put out by Gail Neeson. And over at the website, you can find out how to download your copy, or if you want a physical print copy of it, or some of the rare back issues, those first 11 issues from back in 1996. She's still got a couple of issues left. Well, that's going to be it, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. Moving forward into 2026, we may not be able to do this show weekly as religiously as we have tried to do over the many years that we've been doing this. We started Anomaly-NOW in 2020 during the pandemic and the lockdowns as a way of doing, not in person, virtual outreach. And of course, we're kind of continuing that with the Anomaly Academy lecture series through our patron supported Patreon accounts. And that's all going to continue as best we can. But there's certain things going on in my life that are going to likely make it really challenging to continue with the weekly show. But who knows? You just never know. The world changes on a dime. And it's a dime or two or three. It's the money that makes the world go round. But that's neither here nor there. But if you can support the Anomaly Archives, you can go to our Patreon and you can subscribe for $1, $2, $5, $10 a month. Anything helps. You can also you can go to anomalyarchives.org and you can donate via PayPal, or you can send a check to our PO box. That's PO Box 152252, Austin, Texas 78715. All that information is, of course, on the website. Also, it's been ticking down there on the bottom of your screen for a while during parts of this episode. And, the usual, hit the like and subscribe. We've been gaining subscribers. Really appreciate that. We still don't have that many compared to other podcasts, but, we're not ever to everyone's taste, I suppose. But thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for reaching out. We do appreciate the emails. You can contact us at contact@anomalyarchives.org. And we even have a phone number that you can leave voicemail at or text us. And that's going to be it. Happy New Year, folks. I really hope you have a fun and safe evening tonight and a wonderful New Year's Day tomorrow, the first day of 2026. And let's just all agree to be good people and be nice to people and defend the weak and do the best we can to make the world a better place. Thank you so much. Good night.
I don't.